In this video, I'm going to show you how to find ancestors using information you already know. So, let's go to Family Search. Once you've logged in, go click on Family Tree and go to Tree. To visualize this more easily, I'm going to change from Landscape to Fan Chart. This will show me really quickly where I have gaps in my fan chart. Let's see, let me zoom out just a little bit. Here we go. You can see I have pretty good coverage in these first few generations, and then I have a gap here and here and here. Now, being deeply engaged in family search and family history in general, I have searched these records extensively. So I know that if we try to search for them right now, I'm probably not going to find them. But I wanted to point out the holes in the fan chart so that you could see similar things in yours. But to demonstrate what we're going to do today, I need to pretend that I'm missing someone that I know I can find, so that I can show you how you would find them. So let me zoom back in, and let's just go down my father's line. Here's Thomas Aubrey Gaskin, his father, Herbert Lee Gaskin, and his father, also Herbert Lee Gaskin. Let's say I did not know who my father's grandmother was, but I did know that my father's grandfather was named Herbert Lee Gaskin Sr., and his son, my grandfather, was Herbert Lee Gaskin Jr. How could I find Carrie Lee Magnus without knowing her name? Well, when you search for people on Family Search, they're going to ask you about the following information. If you know this information, it's easy to find people. The more information you know about the person, typically the easier it is to find them. But let's say I know very little. In fact, I don't know her surname or her given name, where she was born, what year she was born in, but I do know her spouse's name. That would be my great-great-grandfather, Herbert Lee Gaskin. I don't know her father's name, her mother's name, but I do know she had a child with Herbert Lee Gaskin named Herbert Lee Gaskin. So what I will do is I will go back to Family Search, and I will actually do some searching. Click on Search, and click on Records. Alright, there's a basic form here if you happen to know the person's name and place of birth and year of birth. But I already said I don't know that information. Let's pretend I did for a moment. Her name was Carrie Magnus. And if I hit search, it comes up with several. Well, I could refine this by adding a spouse. Over here, click on spouse. Her spouse's first name was Herbert. Last name was Gaskin. If I search for that, here we have it, Carrie Lee Magnus. Spouse, Herbert Lee Gaskin. Children, here's one of them. So I know this is the correct record. But again, let's say I did not know her name. Let me go back. So I'm on this form. I would click on More Options. Here are more options. I would skip the name, skip the birth. I would go to Add Family Member, Spouse, and put in Herbert Lee Gaskin. And then I'd hit search. And you can see it comes up with Flora Annette Cosley. That's actually my grandmother, spouse of Herbert Lee Gaskin Jr. But then the very next one is Carrie Lee Magnus, the one we're looking for, who has a spouse named Herbert Lee Gaskin. So I could click on her. Make sure this information looks just about right. Now I can see that she's already attached in my family tree. But if she weren't, I could then go to my family tree. So let's do that. Family tree, tree. So we're back on the family tree. And now the easiest way to add a spouse is to click on the known spouse, click on person, and then scroll down and add spouse. I'll click on that. And now that we know the name, we learned that it was Carrie Magnus. Carrie Magnus. In fact, we learned that it was Carrie Lee Magnus. Female. Deceased. Next. There she is. Now it says that this relationship already exists because they're already attached in my family tree. And that's fine. But if they weren't attached, I could attach them. Add to my family tree. And that's how you find people, using information you already know in Family Search.